Hi, students. Today, rather than moving, I was thinking that I would talk to you about something. And I wanted to talk to you about emotional learning. Emotional learning for me is really different because it's not something that you can really teach. It's not something you can teach like math or science, where it's about facts. In fact, I think that teaching about our emotional side, like being loving or caring or compassionate, the only way to really teach it is to uncover or look at times when you're not compassionate, when you're not loving, when you're not caring, and to inquire and to look at it and to see what you're like during those moments. So I'm going to do that with you today. Last night, I had a discussion with my wife, and she was upset with me. She was upset because I had made an important decision and I hadn't talked to her enough about it. And I had just gone ahead and made a decision. And she said that I wasn't being a good teammate. While we were having the discussion, I noticed my desire to fight back or to blame her or to argue against what she was saying. And that wasn't helping me listen. So I just noticed and I really paid attention to that desire to blame her or to criticize her. And while I was paying attention to that, I was able to not criticize her and I was really able to listen. We had a really good discussion. But my sneaky mind, when I went to bed, I started to not pay attention. And I started to think about ways that it was her fault. And I started to blame her for the way I was feeling. And I felt awful. I mean, it felt really good in the moment to blame someone else and to not take responsibility. But it felt awful because I had hurt my relationship and knew I was making bad decisions. I woke up the next morning and I thought, wow, what an experience. What an opportunity to learn. When we were having our conversation, I was listening and paying attention. And then the moment I had time, or the moment I felt like it was okay to criticize her, I let go of what was important. And I started to blame her for not feeling good about what I had done. So when I saw my wife the next morning, I thanked her for such a great conversation we had the night before and how awesome it is to be with someone or to have someone in my life that really wants to be a team player. Do you ever have times, or have you today or in the last week had times where the story that I told sounds familiar to you? Someone is telling you something, and rather than listening to them, you start to think about ways that you can criticize them or think about ways that you could blame them. Does that ever happen to you? Would you be willing to tell me? You could send me an Edsby message, or you could send me a personal video. Anyway, thanks for listening. I noticed we still have time to do some push-ups. Let's do them.